As a digital marketing entrepreneur, if you're not growing the way that you want, your leads are inconsistent, your clients are unpredictable, your revenue feels more like a roller coaster, I want to introduce you to the actual agency framework in this video. This is a step-by-step system that I use in my next level 90-day agency program to help entrepreneurs build real business assets and systems in just 90 days. Success doesn't come from hustling harder or trying out a bunch of strategies. It comes from installing real business assets in a repeatable system. And that's exactly what the actual agency framework does. It's not theory. It's a practical step-by-step process that you can implement immediately to attract leads, convert them, sell with confidence, deliver results, and scale your agency. The actual agency framework has 6 phases: attract, convert, transact, unify systems, activate delivery, and leverage and optimize. And I'm going to walk you through each step and give you specific and actionable steps that you can implement right now to start building your agency infrastructure. Now, if you'd like a checklist of all of the action steps that we are going to be talking about here, you can download that for free at portableentrepreneur.com/90-day steps, or just use the link below. Starting with the first phase, attract. This is what we tackle in the first 2 weeks. And the goal here is to help you bring in the right leads consistently. And in order to do this, there's some very specific action steps that you're going to want to handle. And you want to do all of these action steps that we're talking about today in the order that I am sharing them with you, if you want to take the easy route. The very first action step is to define your ideal client, because you're going for one very clear niche with one clear problem that your service is going to solve. And once you determine who you are going to serve, all of the other decisions along the way are going to be significantly easier for you, even including the service to offer, what you need to learn if you don't already have the skills. So always start with who you're going to serve, and that takes you to the next decision, which is to define a clear revenue-linked problem that will then become your offer to that specific niche that you have selected. And I find these 2 decisions alone often create so much more clarity than most entrepreneurs are operating their business with. So when you get clear on this, it is going to help tremendously as you start to put the rest of these phases into action. So once you know who you're going to serve, and how you're going to serve them, and how you are going to link that to their revenue so that you can be seen as not someone who just handles tasks, but you're seen as an outcome-based provider, you then want to craft a positioning statement. And this is going to state who you serve and how you help them. What is that outcome that you are going to be able to help them achieve? This is a very quick yet very clear statement that doesn't talk necessarily about the services that you offer, but more on the outcomes that you work to deliver. So it is very, very clear to anyone that you say this to or that you write this to exactly who you are and what you're about, and if you're for them or if you're not. Now, once you have these steps in place, now you can move on to selecting a primary lead source. And that is, where are your leads going to be coming from? Now, in Next Level, I help entrepreneurs narrow down their specific lead source using the client acquisition quadrant, which helps make the decision significantly easier because we want to have one lead source. We want to find the one that works for you and your specific goals, that is going to put you in front of your ideal clients that you have now defined who they are. So when you narrow down your lead source, you want to pick just one, and it's one that is going to get you the types of leads coming in. Do you want to go to the leads and pull them in? Do you want the leads coming into you and you are working with them? What type of content do you need to create in order to attract specific types of leads? What resources do you need to have available? And this helps you narrow down the specific lead source that you can go all in on, because when you dabble in multiple different lead sources, it's nearly impossible to do them all really, really well. And then you start to think, well, this just doesn't work. But it's because we're either not choosing any lead source, or it's because we're choosing multiple lead sources that we can't really go all in on. And so we don't see the best results. So that is why we're picking one niche, one core offer, and one lead source. Simplicity can take you really, really far and help you build a 6-figure business when you don't overcomplicate things. Now that you have a lead lead source selected. The next thing that you want to do is look at what type of content do you need to create in order to make that specific lead source work. This could be simple emails. This could be simple scripts. This might be videos. This might be written content. There's all different types of content, of course, but that will become clear once you select the lead source that you are going to be focusing on. So phase one really is your foundation. You're getting clear on who you're going to help and how you are going to help them. And having this clarity is going to make it significantly easier for you to start attracting those leads into your business. The next phase is convert, which we work on in weeks 3 and 4. And the goal here is to help you turn the attention that you are now getting from the leads that we started with in phase 1 and turning those into qualified sales conversations. So what are your action steps to do this? The first one is to set up a lead pre-qualification system. This is where you are asking very specific, intentional questions before you're really investing time in a full call with a prospect. That way you are making sure that you are the right fit for them, they are the right fit for you, and you are going to be able to deliver on that outcome, that offer that you have for them, and to make sure you don't waste any time on those time wasters, those bad clients. This helps you filter that out, which is going to help make your agency as profitable as possible. So instead of coming from a place of desperation, wanting to take any and every client that comes to you, you rather want to be very intentional about the clients that you select. That way you are not only going to be profitable with that particular client, but that client is also going to help you attract similar work from other good clients that are going to be the right fit for you. You then want to develop a structured discovery conversation. It is actually intentional so that you are knowing what questions that you want to ask in order to understand their challenges, to uncover what their actual specific goals are, even if they don't quite know how to verbalize that yet, and predict their readiness to actually do something about this challenge that they're facing and to be able to actually achieve the goals that they want. So when you use this sales call framework, it is going to outline the sales call structure. So if you're ever wondering, well, what do I say? I don't know how to guide this conversation so they actually want to hire me. That is what you actually intentionally create before you start having these sales conversations so that you have the right conversations that are going to help lead the prospect into a paying client. Because when you control the sales process and you qualify the leads before you start selling, you stop wasting time on bad fit clients and focus in on those profitable ones who are the right fit for your agency. The third phase we move into is transact, which we tackle in weeks 5 and 6. And the goal with the transact phase is to be able to sell confidently and professionally. So in this phase, we want to decide on your pricing. And we're going to use your capacity, the value that you are offering to determine your prices so that you're not coming from a place of desperation, because you're either pricing way too high because you really just need that money, or you're pricing way too low because you are just desperate to get clients. We want to make sure that we are coming from the right place when selecting our pricing so that it makes sense for you and it makes sense for the clients as well. So we're looking at what you can realistically handle, because I am a very, very big believer in that you are designing a business around the lifestyle that you want to have. It's very easy to build a successful business on paper, but it doesn't leave you time to actually live life. And so we need to find that balance. So we actually look at your pricing based on the lifestyle that you want to have. What capacity do you have available in order to actually serve your clients and be growing your business so that you can start earning the actual income that you want without getting burnt out in the process? Now, you also want to create a simple contract and payment system. And in this system, you're going to make sure that every client is crystal clear. They're going to know exactly what to expect and what not to expect. So that way you get paid smoothly without issue. not only during the time of payment, but also later on in the project as well. Everything is very clear. And in this system, you're making it super easy to set up one time and then be able to use that contract, use those terms, that payment system for all of your future clients as well. So you're not redoing the work. You're simply doing a few little tweaks and being able to reuse what you've created. The more efficient you are in that way, the less unnecessary repeat work that you're doing, the more profitable you will become. And then you want to create an onboarding system to use with every single one of your clients so that they have a smooth transition into your agency. Because when you have clear offers, professional transactions, this is going to help create predictable revenue for you, a high level of client satisfaction, and most importantly, it's going to protect your time and your sanity. Now you're already halfway through setting up your agency, and we now move into unify systems, which we do in weeks 7 and 8. And the goal of this phase is to make your agency repeatable and scalable, which of course brings us to your action steps. The first thing that you want to do is to map out your lead to delivery process. So you are literally mapping out everything from the very first initial contact with a prospect all the way through delivering on your service, on your offer. And when we do this, this really gives clarity to your process, how clients are entering the system, and it helps you be able to figure out ways to be more efficient along the way, which ultimately is helping you better serve your clients. And so they are happier, and it's also helping you be more profitable, which of course is going to make you happier. And then we're going to start to document workflows by using standard operating procedures or SOPs. Now, no one starts with all of their SOPs ready to go. So this is why in this phase, we are going to start by developing the first key workflow that you do. And so this is something that is going to be a repeatable system that you are going to map out for each of the processes that you go through for your clients. This is going to help reduce errors and confusion so that you have more repeatable execution. Now, if you ever decide to hire a team member or a contractor and you want them to handle full projects or maybe just specific aspects of projects that free you up to either not be working or to work on other aspects of your business, this means you now have a repeatable system and you don't have to worry, oh, if I hand this off, are they not going to do as good of a job as I would? So now you know that they are simply following the exact steps that you would, so you can expect the same outcome. So when you have repeatable systems, it means that your agency doesn't have to rely on you doing everything manually. And over time, it is going to start running more like a machine and becoming more and more efficient and more profitable over time. Our second to last phase is activate delivery, which we tackle in weeks 9 to 10. And the goal here is to be able to deliver your work professionally, confidently, and consistently. So our first action step here is that we want to create client communication standards and expectations. So we are setting response expectations. Where are those responses happening? How are they happening? When are they happening? Because when we set our standards and we share our expectations of us and of the client up front, it helps the entire process run significantly smoother. And when we actually pull this into a process, it makes you look very professional. You are very confident in the process that you have, and the clients tend to respect that a lot more. You are then going to implement a simple performance tracking system. This is simply going to be a system that is easy for you to track what is happening and is it working or is it not. And this gives you very black and white data to be able to determine what are your next steps. What are some things that you can make some small improvements on? Are there any bottlenecks that are happening in your agency that you were able to tweak so that it makes things run a little bit more efficiently? And this is something that you will continue to use over time. So the more that you can track what you're doing and the more that you can make that just a very simple and easy process so you actually do it, you are really going to become even more efficient throughout your whole agency and all the different processes, not only from client onboarding, client delivery, but also even in building your agency, scaling it, because you have the client side of things, but you also have the business side of things you need to pay attention to as well. So in this phase, this is where clients really feel confident in you, your delivery becomes more predictable, and your business overall is running smoother. This now brings us to the final phase of the actual agency framework, which we handle in weeks 11 and 12 of this 90-day sprint. And the goal in this phase is to prepare the agency to grow beyond you. And if you're thinking, well, I just want to be a one-person agency, or I would never want to sell my agency, or I would never want to bring in contractors into my agency, this is still a phase that I highly, highly encourage you to pay attention to. You never know in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, the direction your life may take you. And you may find that in that time frame, you actually may decide, you know what, I want to do my business a little bit differently. I want this to look a little bit differently, run a little bit differently. And if you already have the systems in place, when your life takes a turn and your business is already prepared for that, you will be incredibly thankful. Even if your life never takes the turn, you just are a one-person agency for years and years, then this phase still helps you to be more efficient and more profitable. So this is why you want to pay attention here as well. So let's get into our action steps in this final phase. We first want to be able to identify the steps, the tasks, the processes that could be delegated, that could be automated and help free up your time. And we also really want to hone in on your capacity plan. A lot of us are doing this because we want time freedom, right? We don't want to have a business that we now have to run 24/7. So it's very important that we have a capacity plan. How much can I actually handle? And how am I going to make sure that my services, my pricing, my processes, all of this come together that allow me to live that vision that I have for my life? So it's really about you being able to hit your revenue goals and beyond with the time and energy that you have available. You also want to develop a retention plan for your clients. How can you continue to serve the clients that you have already onboarded, that have already paid you, have already benefited from your services? It is really, really good place to be in business when you have a full client load, but you still have inbound leads coming in, and it's more than you can handle. That is a really, really good place to be. And there's ways that you can structure your business of what you can do with these excess leads. And when you find yourself at that point, and it is a great place to be. And that's where I want you to be. So you understand this is the capacity, this is what I can handle. And as I continue to grow and I have more leads coming in, well, now there's other things we can do with those leads that are going to be helpful for your business. So if a client falls off, they close, whatever happens, because businesses can go in different directions unexpectedly, that you have leads to be able to pull from, but you are not just continuing to stack client after client just because they're there and available, because it is that balance, in my belief, to have the lifestyle that you desire and have that successful business behind it that is supporting that lifestyle that you want. And you're not just working to work and just to have money, but you don't have that lifestyle. Now, in this phase, I am also creating, since we've just gone through a 90-day sprint, I'm looking at what are the next 90 days going to look like for me? Are we focused on pulling more leads into the system, building more awareness of the agency, working on client retention, optimizing our processes, scaling our services? What are the things that we need to focus on? Now, if you've been around here for a while, you probably know that I really like these 90-day sprints. I always want to have a 90-day plan. It's still long enough that we can accomplish a lot, but it's short enough that we really need to hone in and focus on what are we going to be doing month by month and week by week so that we know exactly what it is that we need to be focusing on. So whenever we're ending our 90-day sprint, I'm looking at what did we accomplish during that time? What did we not accomplish during that time? Were there any roadblocks? What happened? And then we can use that information to define our next 90-day plans. Now, what do we want to focus on? Do we need to carry anything over? Do we need to continue anything that we've already started? And this is going to help you continue to be profitable and continue to grow over time when you use these 90-day sprints. So this is all about helping you grow intentionally without burning out. My next level 90-day agency program is built around this exact actual agency framework. So if you'd like to learn more about this process or start building your agency by building real agency assets every single week for 90 days, visit portableentrepreneur.com/next level. Every week you get a single focused training, step-by-step implementation guidance. So the bulk of your time is creating and installing real business assets, getting clients and starting to generate revenue in 90 days. So this is where you really stop guessing what to work on and start building a real, repeatable agency that works, even when you're not grinding 24/7. 90 focused days can completely change the trajectory of your agency. And whether you join Next Level 90-Day Agency or you do this process on your own, follow the action steps that we talked about here one by one in the order that I laid them out. And don't forget that you can download the free checklist with all of these steps over at portableentrepreneur.com/90-day steps. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time here with me. It means so much to me, and I'll catch you on the next one.